Yo, 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 you made it. It's your favorite comic on the rise, Meldon Williams, and you are officially tuned into the Comedy Chatter Podcast. If you've been searching for a pod that talks all things comedy, as well as kick it with today's nationally touring and headlining comedians, then this is the podcast for you. What up, good people? Melly Mel back at it. 4th episode of the Comedy Chatter Podcast. Not only did I tell y'all I'll be back, but I told y'all I'll be back with a very special guest. And Lord knows I have a very special guest this episode, Mr. Roy Wood Jr. He gave me such a hell of an interview, man. It's going to be really anybody just like trying to, kind of do their thing in stand-up comedy, man, and trying to make it, aspiring comedians like myself, up-and-comers. This is the podcast for you. This is the episode. This is the interview for you to listen to, man. He's a comedy vet. He's been around. He's done so much stuff, capping off with the Daily Show stuff that he's doing now and his comedy special that he kicked ass with earlier this year. But he was humble enough to give me a hell of an interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, man, without further ado, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going, no comedy skits from me this time. No back in the day sponsors. I'm not going to mess this up in any way. I'm just going to sit back and allow you guys to enjoy the excellent interview I had by Mr. Roy Wood Jr. So you guys, you're in for a real treat. Roy Wood, Comedy Chatter Podcast. All right. Comedy Chatter Podcast, Meldon Williams, we in the house. Hey, special. I'm talking about, when I say special, I mean special guest. I had to do a whole lot to get this cat where I got him right now. But, hey, man. Hey, it's without a doubt, man, the one and only Mr. Roy Wood Jr. What's going on, big time? How you doing?
You know what? I'm all right, brother. It's been a week. It's been a little hectic week. What are we? Friday?
Yes.
This is 4 city number 9.
Damn. Yeah, you work.
I think. Yeah, somewhere in there. It's been a bunch of two-a-days.
Man, yeah, you going in for real.
These are the problems we prayed for. So I don't complain. I just gotta eat better, so I have my energy.
Exactly. Take our vitamins and everything. I'm there as well, man. Well, first of all, man, before I get started with anything, I just gotta thank you so much, wholeheartedly. Like, I'm a fan. I'm gonna get into the email pretty soon. You probably don't even remember it, but like I said, I'm a huge fan. We go way back,
yeah.
And it's one of those deals where it started a long time ago, but to finally have you here, man, and doing this podcast has been a labor of love of mine for a while. I've been trying to put together, but to have you get down on it is a huge blessing, man. So I appreciate you. You're one of the most humble cats that I've met already in terms of this comedy game. Because hey, at this point, hey, I'm gonna keep it real. You could be like, away from me, peasant. Get away from me, you peasant. But instead, you just been like, hey, man, no, whatever you want to do it, you can make it here, and so I'm happy about that.
This is my thing. So I did morning radio in Birmingham for about almost 15 years. There was a couple years off, and there was some drama, a little hiatus here and there. But from like 2001 to basically 2012, 2013.
Okay.
I was doing mornings in Birmingham. And Birmingham is not a respected market.
Yeah.
In terms of artists. And, it was rare that we could get an artist to call into our show, let alone come in studio to actually promote whatever the hell it was they was trying to do. 9 times out of 10, if you had a show in Birmingham, you showed up the day of, and you maybe did the afternoon show with Bartell or Dwight Stone or Lil Homie, or whoever the afternoon jocks were at the time at 95.7 Jams. But not mornings. We couldn't get people. They wouldn't want to call in. They just didn't want to fuck with us.
Wow.
And I used to really take offense to that because I felt like the people of Birmingham deserved as much as whatever they get in Atlanta, whatever you giving them in Memphis, whatever effort you giving in New Orleans for promo. You know what I'm saying? So I just used to always take offense. I just got told no so many fucking times by artists who just had no interest in being a part of what we were doing. And so anytime anybody sees fit to want to do something with me, I'm grateful. It don't matter who you are, what you do, how many downloads you got, or all these other extraterrestrial questions. that's not even the right word to use. Like the extemporaneous. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
I feel you. I got where you at.
So for me, I just appreciate you for giving a damn. And my only thing with podcasts is that sometimes you got to avoid these people who think they doing a good interview and think they're doing a good job. And there's a lot of weird cats out there, so you'll fall into some weird. Had some weird interviews with some weird cats before. But at the end of the day, anybody that cares about what I do, man, if I got the time, then why not sit down and rap? And to me, the biggest issue ain't effort, it's time.
Yeah. Like a busy guy like you, I'm sure, like at this point, you know what I'm saying, busy, everything is going, like you just said, like 9, what you say, 9 cities. 9 cities.
2 cities a day.
Yeah, 2 a day. It's just like the Hoopers when they work out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, man, hey, I'm a huge basketball fan. I don't know if you are. I know you on them Cubs. We'll get into them soon, too. But, yeah, I'm a huge basketball fan. So everything I do with people that I just, meet, this, that, and the other, I kind of predicate it off of hoops. Because I know exactly, like I can kind of, read them.
Yeah, sports is a good parallel for life.
Exactly. So I always ask this same question on my podcast to get it popping. You can answer it any way you like, even if you pick one or not. So, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Definitely not Kobe.
Definitely not Kobe.
From the equation.
All right. See, that's how I know who I'm dealing with, like how they answer this question. So definitely not Kobe. Got you.
It's not a disrespect to Kobe.
Okay.
It's just there's some shackness in those first 2 that
Very
people
true.
love to kind of play off. Kobe started out as Robin and ended up Batman.
It's very true.
Jordan ain't never been Robin.
Exactly.
LeBron ain't never been Robin.
Exactly. Man, how true is that?
I reluctantly, only because LeBron's narrative isn't finished yet, you have to go Jordan. Until LeBron's narrative is complete. But all this crowning him the greatest, he's the greatest already. No.
Yeah, that's always funny to me when they, like I said, first of all, and we always have arguments with my boys. I say, hey, first of all, let the man finish. Let the man finish. Let's see what LeBron's got. Jordan's finished, and that's the reason why we can sit back and say, hey, from what we've seen thus far, out of finish.
But to be fair, I'm also 38, so I grew up on Jordan.
Yeah.
So my knowledge, you always lean towards what you grew up with, and I don't want to sound. It's the same reason I think Outkast is better than most stuff that's out today, with the exception of Kendrick and J. Cole. It's that argument that people will. It's an argument of eras.
Yes, it's so true.
You're not really arguing LeBron or Jordan. You're arguing 90s versus now.
Yes, indeed.
That's true. You're arguing fucking Voltron versus Power Rangers.
Very true.
That's the deeper crux of it all, in my opinion. You're arguing the Nintendo, the old school Nintendo versus PlayStation 4. And it's just not, you'll never be able to compare the two on the same wavelengths. The NBA was tougher. It was grittier when Jordan played.
Exactly. Hand checking. They wasn't shooting all threes. We had post players. We had centers.
So it's hard the game is smaller now. So it's hard to say what LeBron would have done when Charles Oakley neck chopped his ass in the second quarter. That's true. And you got to get back up and keep playing.
Yes,
so it's hard to compare the two. But I enjoy watching LeBron. He has been...
He's the man right now.
Who else own a decade?
Exactly. In anything. You're right. So my man is he kicking butt. Like if he gets there this year, 7 straight finals. That'll be
by a nose I go Jordan. Also Jordan, there's a lot of people don't know about Jordan. There's a lot to be annoyed by with him from a character standpoint.
Of course.
But Jordan as owner of the Charlotte, then Bobcats, now Hornets, employs more minorities than any other professional sports franchise in America.
Okay.
Now, I can double check those stats, but that's as of, I think, 2016 when I read that in ESPN. So you want to talk giving back and helping and giving brothers a chance and revitalizing, put the money in the hood and you got to help black folks.
Say Mike is doing that.
Yeah, now LeBron is also sending kids to college. LeBron already said.
Loves him some Akron boys.
Yeah, so if you live in Akron and you want to go to college, damn it, I got you. Just come holler at me. I'll go and get your books. So It's tough, but for now, I would say Jordan because he's had a more complete career.
Exactly. Yeah, but
LeBron could overtake him.
Yeah, I'm a huge Jordan fan.
Just definitely
too,
not Kobe. We just know for sure not Kobe.
Yes, that's the best part of that answer. The fact that we know who you said it's not. Exactly. All right, you done already touched on it a little bit, but we gotta start, man. So you the Beham's finest, Birmingham, Alabama. You got to tell me a little bit about coming up there and starting your comedy career. 'Cause that's kind of where you started. You was getting into comedy clubs and stuff there, right?
Well, I was still in school. I was in Tallahassee at Florida A&M.
Yes, A&M. You're a rattler. Yeah. Yep. Very true.
Open mic was in Birmingham once a month. So once a month, I'd hop the dog and go the Greyhound.
Greyhound. I know what the Grey Dog is.
Yeah, hop the dog.
Believe me, I know.
Hop the dog up to Birmingham,
okay.
do a show, and record it. Go back and watch. I really lucked up, man. In the front end of my career, I was 20. My girlfriend at the time was 25.
All right. Big baller.
Listen, I was mature for my age.
I got you.
And because she was 25, she could rent cameras from Renison.
Oh, okay.
So that was the only way I could get my hands on a video camera until I saved up enough money and I started figuring out with Circuit City, you could basically buy a camera and return it in under 14 days and pay a 10% restocking fee, which essentially is just a 30-day rental.
Exactly. Smart.
Yeah, so but I had to work enough to save up money at Golden Corral. But, my early days of comedy were in the Florida Panhandle and just greyhounding anywhere within 4 hours. So I could hit, 4 hour drive, 8 hours on the bus. But my radius was New Orleans to Birmingham to Atlanta, all the way around to Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
So if you make a circle anywhere inside of that,
you was hitting that.
That's pretty much my first 2 years of comedy. I don't think I left that bubble at all, with the exception of one gig to Charlotte to open for Tommy Davidson, because I thought he was going to bring me to L.A. with me. True story. I opened for Tommy Davidson, and I thought this was going to be like...
that was it. That was the big break.
Right?
Yeah.
He was coming off Ace Ventura 2. He was hot.
Man.
And so it's like 99, maybe 2000. Man, it's a 3-day gig. I packed 2 weeks worth of clothes.
Wow.
That's how sure.
Knew you was going.
Oh, Tommy all right, it was in my head. I'm going to go see Tommy Davidson. I'm going to open up for him. He's going to see me rock that bitch. And then he's going to come backstage and be like, I want you to come to L.A. with me. Man, I had suits.
You was ready.
I had casual wear.
Yes, you was
ready.
Had
sandals.
You said
for
what?
The beach.
First 2 years. This
I ain't never been to LA.
Yeah.
Man, I do the shows and I do all right. It was fine. I did my job as a host.
Yeah.
Last show, I'm in the green room. Tommy Davidson comes in while the middle act is on stage. He comes in. He goes, "Listen, brother. Didn't hear a single joke you did this week, but I heard you ripped it. Keep it up." And he just walked off. And I'm like, nigga, I packed for 2 weeks.
Exactly. What are you doing
supposed to take
What are
me
you
to
doing
LA
to me
with
right
you?
now, man? You messing with my life.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
It's so funny now because now when I'm in the green room with comics I don't know, like anytime there's a new comedian backstage, I'm just like, I hope you didn't pack no clothes.
Oh, man. Yeah, you always go back to that story in your head. Yeah.
I'm like, hey, taking you back to New York with me.
And that's the funniest part about that story is that's just kind of what we all think, too.
What a stupid thought.
Oh, we all just like, hey, man, tonight is the night. You know
but that's what you hear. You hear the Chris Rock. He was stacking chairs, and Eddie Murphy was in the room, and Chris asked to go up, and Eddie saw Chris and put him in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Hey, you want to go to L.A. with me this week? We're going to Beverly Hills Cop.
Like,
That's exactly what you hear.
That ain't how the shit go.
Eddie Griffin. I think I've heard an Eddie Griffin story where he was rocking somewhere, and Dice Clay saw him, and he did the Dice Clay impersonation. Dice Clay walks up to him, man. He thought he was about to fight, and instead Dice Clay was like, "Hey, man, I'm taking you with me." And the rest is history. I'm like, damn, so you're right. You hear those stories, you're like, that's going to be me.
Amazing.
Man, funny.
So that was the early years, man. The early years was just the Greyhound till my mom put down a car for me, which she didn't want to do. I think my mom just did it because she didn't want me to die on the Greyhound. Because Greyhound, even then, was scary.
Man, Greyhound's gritty, man.
It's
gritty.
It's literally like public housing. Like, I don't even know how to compare it. Like, what to even compare it to, but it's just literally the scariest, weirdest, sketchiest motherfuckers. And you're all on a bus. There's no metal detector.
No, nothing. Anybody can get
on
out there.
Sleep? I'm supposed to sleep. I hear stories of girls waking up to niggas jacking off next to them on the bus.
Shit.
And I'm like, yeah, I could believe that. I could believe that happens.
You see, it's not a surprise to me, huh? Man.
Yeah, she didn't like the fact that I was riding the bus and all of that. So she put down for an 01 Ford Focus, man. That shit changed the game, man.
And that changed the game. Yeah, like I said, you don't mind grinding, so
it stretched how far I could go. So now, instead of my radius, the furthest north I've been able to go is Birmingham or Atlanta. Now I could go as far north as St. Louis, Louisville, Cincinnati. I could go all the way down to like Orlando, Miami, and still be back to school on Monday in time for class.
Yeah.
Because that was the main thing. Deal was you keep your grades, you keep your car.
Okay.
So that was a fair bargain.
That was
so
definitely a
I
fair
made
bargain.
Dean's List the rest of the way. I wasn't going to take the car.
Exactly. Yeah, that means you was, I mean, that's the grind right there, too.
That car was the single most important part of my career. In terms of things, like, to acquire something that helps build you, is that car. And then after that, I got a Dell Inspiron 8100 laptop with the wood grain heel rest. With the wrist rest, like you could customize it. You remember the commercial back in the day? Dude, you're getting a Dell. The college boy? Yeah, that was me.
That was you.
That computer, that car and that computer were more important than the jokes I wrote.
Wow, really?
Yeah, absolutely.
It ain't car, definitely.
It ain't shit if you can't get to the gig.
Yes.
Write all the jokes you want, but they ain't shit if you cannot get to where you need to tell them. And in the South and the Midwest, that's the struggle. This ain't no New York, L.A. story where I just went to the same club every night for 2 years, and me and the guys, we hustled around, and we went to club. No, it's the South.
Yeah.
Nigga, you performing once.
Yeah, you by yourself,
week.
too. I've heard you say that on some other interviews. Like, hey, man, people ask, I think they ask you, say, so, yeah, what comics did you come up with? And did you start with? He's like, shit, it's a lonely game in the South, man. Like, I mean, ain't no Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, and all those together.
I was watching comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
And fucking George Wallace is talking to Seinfeld. And they're just throwing out names. Well, yeah, we saw Colin Quinn and then Dennis Leary. Remember that time when Bill Maher's car broke down and we all had to fit in? I'm just saying, what the fuck kind of comedy world is this?
Like, where were y'all
Well, it's just a bunch of Hall of Famers.
Exactly.
Just kicking it. Man, down south, man, you'd be with a cat that's... One week you pair it with the alcoholic. The next week you pair it with someone that's got a future. And the week after that, you pair it with somebody that's just doing it for pussy.
Yeah,
and
trying to get some women.
Yeah. There's a lot of
same grinders. Yeah, it's not such a... You definitely didn't want to get the same grinder type dude like you were.
There's nobody... There's a lot of guys that I met and I knew and our paths crossed, but to say we had the same relationship and the same career trajectory would be a lie. Like, I can't put my name on anybody that's prominent now.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Ricky. Man, he's another favorite of mine, and I know he's from Beham. I went to Alabama State.
Smiley.
Yeah, I went to Alabama State first year of college, 95.
Ricky and I didn't come up together.
Wow.
We didn't. We were in the same city.
Same place, and
Ricky came before me. And so Ricky was like, and even now to this day, he's the elder statesman of comedy in Birmingham. Ricky was the one, I've said this on the record numerous times, Ricky was the one that I credit with actually having the guts to start comedy, because Ricky Smiley was the first person from Birmingham on TV, on cable, like the first comedian. Like, you see, because you're in Alabama, man. They make you think you ain't shit. You can't do shit. You ain't going to be shit.
Yeah.
Go get your factory job and fucking save up for your fucking Disney trip when your kids are 9.
Yeah.
But then you see a dude that's basically from 3 exits up the freeway.
Wow.
And this nigga's on BET and he's repping.
Killing.
And he's repping Alabama. He's
and
screaming
he's
Alabama.
Too.
I was like,
he was repping it.
Yo.
I said, I could do that.
He from the crib, fuck it. Then being from the crib ain't no... You want to believe... You're taught to believe that being from the South is a handicap. It's definitely a disadvantage when you start strategically in building your brand, but to whether or not you got something that's worth saying or whether or not you have something that matters to the world, being from the South ain't got shit to do with that. You got to give, share it. And
Yeah.
So Ricky Smiley was, I mean, of course you have comedic heroes and influences and all that, and Chris Rock and Carlin and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Ricky Smiley is the one where I was like, all right, I can do this. So
Yes.
I'm going to go sign up for open mic. Where did Ricky Smiley start on in Birmingham? All right, well then that's where I'm going to start.
Yes. We all need them kind of people.
No, man, Ricky was the one that gave me the blessing when he left Birmingham.
Okay.
When Ricky left Birmingham to start his morning show in Dallas, I replaced Ricky on the morning show. When I started at 95.7, it was to replace Ricky Smiley, which, I mean, that shit was hard because the city had only known one comedian and only one style, and he was king. I cannot stress it enough. Ricky, it goes whoever's playing for University of Alabama, and right under that is Ricky Smiley.
Ricky Smiley, wow.
And that was probably the hardest year comedically of my life because, you know, to go on the radio and just bomb every fucking day, man. Because people just ain't used to
people
you.
not,
used
people
to your
ain't
style,
feeling it yet. Yeah.
But you can't be Ricky. You can't do what he did because then you copying it.
Yeah, you gotta do you.
It, you know, God bless Buck Wild and Cox Radio for sticking with me and letting me get my voice, and the audience, once they started getting acclimated to me, it was on and popping.
It was on and popping.
You know, Ricky's given me a lot of opportunities to contribute to his morning shows over the years, so he's definitely paid homage. But, you know, going back to the original point of, did Ricky and I come up together? Did we toil at open mics, sharing? Remember that time we split a Whopper because we couldn't afford 2 Whoppers? I don't have those stories.
None of that. Yeah,
I don't have all my stories are alone, man.
I got to those prank calls, man. Oh man, I'm talking about
saved my life,
dude. I put that Pandora on, man, and those damn prank calls that come on Leo Devlin. I'm talking about crying, laughing. That one that you did with that lady that said she was making them blueberry pancakes in Alabama.
Barbara, social security check if you want to Google that, people.
Man, I'm talking about tears of laughter. It was so funny.
That was, prank calls really financed a lot of my time on the road before I broke through in colleges. Like if I look at fiscally how things kind of happened for me, because I didn't want to do pranks because Ricky Smiley did pranks. Ricky Smiley was known for pranks, but
he was.
What Ricky neglected when he was doing his time on the morning show in Birmingham, he didn't do a whole lot of fake commercials and parody songs. He dabbled, but he didn't dedicate himself to that because he had more fun with the pranks, and he would do the church lady and all of that stuff. So he would do the church announcements, the funny church announcements and the prank calls. Those were his 2 staples. So I go, all right, well, you need a staple piece in radio. It's called a benchmark.
Benchmark. Okay.
So you need a benchmark is basically a piece of content that's provided every single day that you can count on as a listener. That's always funny and good or whatever. So whatever your favorite radio show is, there's a bench, like with the Steve Harvey show. They have the strawberry letters or whatever. Like those are all benchmarks. Nephew Tommy's pranks are benchmarks.
Yep.
So I come in and I propose what my 2 benchmarks would be: parody songs and fake commercials. And Buck Wild, he's like, that's cute, but we do pranks.
We gotta have some pranks.
I listen to pranks. So if you can't do pranks, you can just fucking go home.
Wow, really? That cut and dry.
Do the pranks or go home. Wow. So I had to do pranks to keep my job. And at that point, you gotta make them funny. So I figured out little tricks to making the pranks better, because I also couldn't do any of Ricky's voices by choice. Because again, you don't want to be fucking copycat. Yeah. Ricky took the redneck voice and fucking killed it.
Killed the redneck.
Took the old lady voice, killed
old lady voice.
Took the thug voice, killed it. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck.
So what am I gonna do?
Yeah. So that was the biggest problem off the rip, man. Was finding like, all right. I go, okay. Well, who do I hate?
Yes, that's what I was gonna ask you. Now, how do you come up with Leo Devlin and Dr. Cinnamon Zebo? Because those is just like they killed me. So they're just people that you hate. Just got to get on your nerves calling you.
I had a black psychology professor. Oh my God, this dude. And he was this African cat, and he would just berate black people. Wow. Like in class for no reason. You come in like 5 minutes late, That is why you do not learn anything, because the American blacks. He told us straight up one day in class. He said, I come from Africa to save you. That is why I teach in America. I come here to the black college to save black people. Because I'm home in Nigeria, I see you on TV, and I go, they need saving.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, nigga, how you gonna just say some shit like that to a class? But he's tenured, so you can't fire him.
Yeah, you can do what he wants.
So I go, all right, I'm gonna turn you into a character. And then I had a dorm advisor that thought he was a drill sergeant, and that's where the Leo Devlin character kind of came from.
Okay.
And so, and also mentioned in there was this Johnny Houston, kind of dim-witted, slow Southern guy who would say rude shit, but would follow it with a compliment. So for me, strategically, it was like, how can I confuse someone?
Yeah.
Because Leo Devlin's is straightforward insult. I'll come over there and slap your face. You ain't nothing for me to come slap you.
Exactly.
That's full confrontation, whereas Johnny Houston would just, I just think you should give us the money. It ain't like you need it because you ugly anyway. Thank you, please.
Yeah.
So say some fucked up shit, then say thank you.
Yes.
For no reason.
Yes.
It doesn't make
That's
sense.
Johnny Houston, okay.
So I started kind of working with the pranks, and eventually I amassed enough prank calls to where I was able to burn down CDs, and that's what I sold after shows.
So that was your merch, okay.
If they had never made me do pranks, I would have never had content to make CDs. And those CDs, man, you sell 5 CDs, that's a tank of gas, man.
That's the way you got to think about it too, man.
There's nights when I got on stage and did not have money to get home.
Of course.
And I know I gotta sell 5 CDs.
Yep. Of course.
I'm in Ohio. I need 2 tanks of gas.
So you got to get all the way back. Yes.
So you got to perform the fuck out of this joke so that people want to buy the CD.
Yeah.
And that, man, you don't even understand how that helped me.
Yeah. I can only imagine, man. I can only imagine. Getting into the next, we already talked about the radio, so we got to get to the TV, man. Cause you done pretty much conquered your radio, so your TV, the Sullivan and Son. How'd that come about, man? Speaking of that, I was just over at the House of Comedy. Steve Byrne.
Yeah, Steve Byrne.
Yep, he's coming through. So when I saw that, all I could do is laugh. I was like, yeah, I could tell Roy Wood that later on. But how'd the Sullivan and Son come about?
Byrne and I met a couple times in L.A. just at comedy clubs. It was just like, and we were never really friends. It was just mutual respect for each other's profession.
Yeah.
And so Byrne says one day, hey, I got a TV show I'm writing. There's a role I think you'd be right for. I'm going to reach out.
Okay.
Everybody say that.
Personally?
Shit.
Like y'all was personally? Okay, y'all was right in front. Okay.
We might have been at the fucking airport or something. Like we weren't at a comedy club when I saw him.
Weren't at a comedy club, okay.
It's just some fucking Asian dude telling me he wrote some shit. All right, man, whatever. Yeah, appreciate it.
You're like, yeah, whatever.
I take a job after Last Comic Standing in 2010. I take a job back home, returning to now host the morning show in Birmingham.
Yep, so now you're the host.
I'm the host. Last thing I get is an email. Last thing before I leave LA to go to Birmingham. I get an email for an audition for a show, whatever. All right, fine, do the show. Walk in the room, Steve Byrne. Steve Byrne with 3 other casting people or whatever. I do the audition. I don't think nothing of it. I go to Birmingham. Get a call 3 weeks later. Hey, you got the job.
You're like, what the hell? You're like, what the hell? Hey,
Yeah.
that's probably what we all need to do. Just don't care about some shit. When you don't care about it, that's when
I just signed a lease. I just signed a lease like earlier that week. And I get a call
man.
somebody got a job in LA.
LA, man, for TV too, like that.
Which you've been striving for the past 7 years when you're in LA.
Exactly. That story's only funny because there's so many people that's like, oh my God, I hope I got it. And I went in there and I tried my best. You just
I
whatever.
was in LA for like
good.
5 years. I was like, fuck this shit, man. I auditioned. I didn't get it. I'm wasting money flying back east to do my shows. I may as well be east to be closer.
Exactly.
So I'll take a radio show. I'll flip that bitch syndicated and then backdoor my way into TV.
Exactly.
It's basically what Steve Harvey did. Steve Harvey pretty much built a radio show and then used that fan base to leverage all of his other opportunities. It opened so many doors for him.
Yeah, smart.
And I could be wrong. I ain't in his war room figuring out the strategy, but I know he had radio before he had movies, before he had anything else.
Before he had anything else.
Maybe the book might have been neck and neck, but either way, the radio was what really opened up the opportunity. He wouldn't have got no TV talk.
Yeah, that's what popped him
if
off.
he didn't have a
the radio
syndicated
popped him
radio
off.
show first.
I live in Atlanta, and so when he came to Atlanta, the show came to Atlanta. He already said that he had been out in L.A. and it had already been popping out in L.A. before he became to Atlanta and got national. So yeah, he definitely had radio first.
So that was my strategy: was just go home, build the show, and then just sneak back in. You know, I still had a bigger plan.
Yeah.
So they go, all right, we got to shoot the pilot. You know, pilots usually don't get picked up. You know, every TV network shoots probably 10 to 15 shows for spec. If you're thinking music, it's basically a demo tape. You basically shoot a sample of the show. So I take a week off of work. I go to L.A. and we shoot the pilot for Sullivan and Son.
Yes, you still kind of suffer the sound. Still like not give a damn mode. Like
pilot, what the fuck?
Whatever.
This shit never gets picked up.
Hilarious.
Shoot the pilot, go home, start back doing radio. Early January, get a call from Steve Byrne. Bro, we're making a TV show. I go, fuck!
Like, what the hell is going on?
Motherfucker!
That's funny. Man, that's funny.
So, you know, my job gave me, they gave me 3 months to go to L.A. to shoot the show.
Okay.
But what I did was I did the show every morning on a radio box from my hotel room. We had a satellite box.
Satellite, yeah.
So I'm in my drawers at 3 o'clock in the morning doing show prep to be on the air at 3:30 a.m. because that's 5:30 Central.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and I would do that till 9. I would do that for 4 hours. And we would get done at 8 a.m. West Coast time, and rehearsal was at 9.
Damn.
So I had enough time to get dressed and pop out the door. So I did that every day, and then I still had my sets to do at night. When we got done with rehearsal in at 3, you nap till 7, you tell jokes till 10 p.m., 10 or 11, and then
you some rest.
Wash, rinse, repeat. So you just sleep in a 3 hour, I slept in 2 separate 3 hour intervals. I never got 6 hours of consecutive sleep unless I skipped local shows that night or whatever. And so that's pretty much how the show started, man. And now it was a blessing to be a part of. It's what cost me my radio job.
Yeah.
Because we got renewed and the bosses didn't want to deal with the whole satellite.
Yeah, you had to pick.
Satellite box.
You had to pick
thing.
at that
because
point.
at the time we're still a local radio show, and a local radio show requires a level of local presence. You got to be out in the streets. You got to shake hands. You got to kiss babies.
Yeah,
you can't
you got to
do
be
that
there. Yeah.
if you're in LA.
Yep, you got to be there.
You know, and I'll just leave it at that. You know,
Yeah,
it was.
I understand.
It's definitely something that I still kind of mull over because I still feel like I would argue that both sides feel like there's a better solution that could have happened other than my show being shit
Just
canned. But
yeah.
you know, it is what it is. If people have to protect their investment, so I get it.
Yeah, I understand totally. Well, yeah, man, like I said, when we first started off, man, hey, nowadays, man, you got big stuff. But you need to be mad proud of the stuff you do on The Daily Show and mad proud of that freaking comedy special, man. That father figure dude, man, I'm telling you, you need to be mad proud of that. I've always, like I said, been a fan for a while. So when I saw that you were dropping a comedy special, it was crazy to think that this was your first. It was your first one. And I was like, damn, like this is
half hour.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. In terms of half hour. This is the very first
late
one.
night special. All I've had is in 5-6 minute.
Yeah, the Conans and all of that stuff. So it was amazing. But hey, it was funny because we looked at it. You know, a couple of my boys looked at it. I'm usually the comedian out of all of us, and I'm just kind of telling them and schooling them on stuff. I was like, we looking at it. They was like, man, so how many is this for him? And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, nah, bro. Like this is his first special. He's like, wow, you would never believe that because it was masterful.
Appreciate it.
Why ATL? I was pissed too because I live in Atlanta. So when I heard it center stage, I'm like, he did this in Atlanta. Where the hell was I? You know what I mean? So yeah, why'd you pick Atlanta to drop it?
Because there was a lot of race in that, in that special. That special is about
a lot of observation, a lot of observational
45 minutes of that 60 is race.
Yeah.
And you know, I love the South. I feel good in the South. I feel comfortable in the South. And I feel like you can't tell, I don't feel like you can talk about, like, that special was for black people. So you're just going to be real about it. It was about me sharing my thoughts about the black experience and what black people are dealing with. And if you're going to tell that story, it needs to be told to black people. You know,
that's
and
definitely where you go.
Anybody else, you're welcome to join and sit in on this conversation. And I don't say that in a racist mindset, but these topics are about issues that black people are dealing with.
Yeah.
White people ain't dealing with racism on the level that we are. They're not dealing with the pressures of whether or not to join a Black Lives Matter protest when you see it just coming down the street randomly.
Exactly.
Like, that's a black problem.
Exactly. You like, man, do I get in this?
Yeah. What do you do if you wasn't planning a protest today and then you see the protest coming down the street? What you do? You just got to start walking.
Yes,
you ain't got no choice.
You're right.
So to tell something like that that's relatable to black people, it's got to be in a black city.
Yeah,
because
they
deserve it. The people in pain are the ones that deserve to laugh first.
It's perfect.
So
perfect.
I don't want to go to a more progressive is the new word they use, but I just didn't want to go there. I wanted to just do this. And the crowd was like 60-40 black. Like it was white people and other races in attendance. Yeah. Come on, come on. But I need to tell these jokes in the belly of the beast where the shit's going down.
Yeah.
And so the only two cities that I ever considered was Atlanta and Cleveland. Those are the only two places.
Okay.
I have better shows in Cleveland. I put Cleveland ahead of Birmingham in terms of my own hometown. I feel like the quality of show and the level of enthusiasm that I've experienced in performing in Cleveland over my career, no other city surpasses it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what it is, but we like each other, so it works out fine. Comedy works best in miserable places.
Okay.
In places where people are miserable and hurting and
They want to laugh.
Yeah, and this is before LeBron.
This is before LeBron won last year.
So they was probably needing to last.
Yeah.
Birmingham got love for me, but I just think being on the radio for so long breeds a familiarity that creates a lack of excitement sometimes because you've seen me, you heard me, you know me. I've been in the streets. I drink with you in the clubs, so it's less of a thing.
I get
Whereas
that.
Cleveland, you pop in once every year and a half. They go, we got to go see this dude.
I get it. I get it.
So
I think even Hart, Kevin did one of his. I think I'm listening to Mark Maron podcast, and he mentioned that Cleveland was one of the places where he kind of, because Mark just said, look, point blank, I don't know what the hell happened. Like 1 minute, I was, everybody was just kind of like doing their thing, and I didn't even know you were still doing comedy. He said the next minute you were the king of comedy.
Yeah.
He's like, how the hell did that happen? And so Kevin told him, like, literally places where I was popping in. I think he mentioned Cleveland too. Like, hey man, I was working, I was emailing. Yeah, he's like, I was putting. He said, whenever Cleveland hear that you coming, hey, they come into the show. So so I get that totally. Well, hey man, like I said, I totally appreciate you doing this for me, man. This is going to be huge. I can't wait till the episode drops. I'm gonna keep you posted.
Well, let me know.
Man, you
let me know.
gotta,
I'll be around.
Throw it out. So who you what's the next spot you got coming up? Like where you going after this?
I'm in.
First of all, we got to talk about what you're doing tonight.
Hey, man, just Google me, motherfuckers. If you see a city that's close, come see me. I get so blah about it. Plus, you don't know when anybody's going to listen to this. Somebody might be listening to this in 2019.
That's true.
Like, damn, I missed them by 3 years.
I missed That's true. But that's the best thing to do.
No, the live show is always fun. And I do material that's, totally different from what's been on the special. So you get a new show. Yeah. Writing is important to me, and I think the hard part now is figuring out how to shape up my thoughts for my second stand-up special.
Okay, which is already like what on deck or what?
Well, I definitely have the opportunity. Okay. But it has to be something. We're getting into a landscape that's pretty littered with people having our specials. Yes. And so now
Netflix and changed the game.
Netflix and CISO have really created opportunities for a lot of different people. So I feel like now, stylistically, there has to be something different.
Yes.
How you present stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is, if we're not careful as comedians, it'll die. Like I used to think that comedy was, and it is, recession-proof.
Mm-hmm.
It's a recession-proof industry. When you're happy, you go laugh. When you're sad, you want to go laugh. It's kind of like alcohol, which is why it's sold there. You know, it's most alcohol-based industries tend to be recession-proof. But where comedy is vulnerable is that people don't really care where they get a laugh from. It's the only genre of entertainment where that can happen. Like if you went to see dancing or dancers or something, you would see professionals. If you wanted singers, you want to see professionals. But if you just need a laugh, you'll get that from any video, any chuckle, any YouTube or Instagram people, and that's not knocking them. Welcome to the party. Let's dance. Let's figure out a way to coexist. But, I mean, case in point, if I told you right now to name 10 viral videos or 10 comedic, funny videos that have been around the internet, if I told you to name 50 fucking viral videos that made you laugh, not a single one of them would be a stand-up comedian.
True.
Nobody passes around comedy.
True.
Stand-up comedy in its basic form is not viral. Stand-up comedy is only viral when some shit goes wrong. When fucking Hannibal says, ooh, Cosby. Or Chappelle throws out a Trump supporter. Or somebody rushed the stage. Or Mike Epps brought a fucking kangaroo. And the kangaroo punched Mike Epps. All right, well, I'll watch that comedy clip. So when you look, or Cat Williams, which is still a funny one, Cat Williams shirtless doing push-ups.
Oh, man.
I can't remember what show it was, but he came on stage with no shirt on, and like the first 5 minutes, it's just him doing cardio.
He was blew out. He was blew out, too.
He was going on something. So, you know, comedy as an occupation is very dangerous right now because, you know, it's 2017, and a lot of these millennials, they don't go to comedy shows because that's not what they associate with comedy.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're doing with that, yeah.
The comedy club as a business model is at risk. And it's a lot of niggas walking around like the comedy club ain't Blockbuster Video. My nigga, Blockbuster Video had the same look on their face before Netflix came and fucked them up. So you blink twice, ain't gonna be nowhere to tell a joke.
That's true.
So
something to think about for real.
How you show the jokes being told. My point is, just standing there holding the microphone, it's not gonna be enough. I gotta figure out what that angle of presentation of the performance of comedy is for the second special. So that it is something different that sets itself apart from the rest of the landscape. And that's got to be not just in the visuals, but also in the content. The content has to be deeper or something. I don't know. I've been reading this Bruce Springsteen autobiography, Born to Run. And Springsteen talks about, in his early days, how much he focused on lyricism and what he was singing about. It wasn't so much about can you sing or can you perform, can you play the guitar. Like, he couldn't always do all of those things as well as everyone else, but he knew his strong point was in the writing, in the lyrics of the song. What is the song saying? Does the song touch you? Does it make you remember something? Does it make you feel something?
Yeah.
And I feel like jokes are the same.
Yeah.
It's the same way. It's got to be something more and something deeper. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. And I understand that too, just about it. You know, like I said, me being a fan of yours, I can tell that you're not just some guy that just figures, hey, I'm just going to get on stage tonight and I'm going to act a fool. Like, no, this is literally about me, you know, the artwork, the art form. It's about me doing something different. It's about me having my own voice, and that's what I think has gotten you here thus far. The fact that you know what I'm saying, somebody going to see Roy Wood, they're not going to see, you know, somebody else. They coming to see, hey, this is original stuff. And that's why I think you should be proud of that special. That special, man, I'm telling you. Like, it was on the mind. I was like, yeah, every joke that came, it was like a new perspective of some of this, you know, same, you know, stuff that everybody's talking about, but your perspective. And that's what makes it great.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
I appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Well, hey, man, like I said, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. We go back, like I told you, I ended with, one night, I think it was July 15th. I looked at the email recently, but I'm sitting in the airport. Well, airport late night. I'm, coming from like a little late show in Fort Lauderdale, and I had to sleep in the airport because I was, flying on a 6:20 back in the morning. So I said, you know what, man, you were kind of, doing your think you're selling, son. You're probably done with that at that point. But still, I found the email of you somewhere. Maybe your website, and say, I'm just gonna go ahead and reach out to this cat. Emailed you, and I think I've started the email with like, hey man, I know this might be a long shot, but I'm just kind of emailing you to tell you, man, how much I appreciate your style and how funny I think you are. I'm a big fan. Blah 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 blah. So it's probably 12 midnight. 4:21 a.m. I get an email back from Roy Wood Jr. and I'm talking about, hey, I'm sitting there still, eyes bloodshot, and I'm reading it, man. Like, you literally made my night that night. Just kind of. I think I asked you some questions, like, yeah, man, when you do this and blah blah blah. Always, you told me some advice. Always make the joke, matter, and this, that, and the other. And I just couldn't believe that, like, that's why I know, like, right now, me sitting here, what you're doing is you're just a humble dude, straight from the hip, man. No matter how big, you get this, that, and the other, you say, man, you're just one of those guys that shoot straight from the hip and just kind of real humble about it. And that's going to take you a long way, bro.
I appreciate it, brother.
Definitely.
I had emailed Aisha Tyler.
Okay. I know her, yeah.
So when I first moved to L.A., they send you to acting class. That's where they send you, your agents and shit.
Okay.
A lot of niggas can't act, so they want to make sure you can act.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many black comedians lose television deals because they cannot
They just can't act.
or they cannot read.
Ooh, and they can't read either.
That's a separate. That's an off mic conversation. And so I'm in this acting class, and I ain't never really asked nobody for advice. Like, it ain't never really been my thing. Like, half the time, I learn more through observing other people. But L.A. was, man, that was a foreign land, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah, so I couldn't figure it out. So I'm in this acting class. Leslie Kahn is the name of the studio, and there's pictures on the wall of previous classes. And so I'm just looking at the pictures, and you see people you recognize.
Yeah.
And like, oh shit, he's on this shit. Oh, I know him from. He played a dude in the. And I see Aisha Tyler, and at the time I think she just finished doing The Soup. I think she was doing 24. She was doing a couple other.
Yeah.
Friends or whatever. She had been in some shit.
Yeah. And
I go, you know what? She was the only stand-up comedian that I recognized on the wall.
Yeah.
That was also acting and juggling that shit. And I sent her a Facebook message. And now that I'm older and understand the protocols or whatever, that message was way too long. I sent her a fucking 8-paragraph email.
Man. Okay.
Just about her opinions of the industry, and as a comic, should I focus on dramatic acting or should I do unscripted, and like shit that you're supposed to be asking your agent.
Yeah.
Man, I fucking hit Aisha Tyler with that bullshit. And she fucking replied. And gave me some really good advice. And I just never forgot that.
Wow.
And that just, after that, I was like, man, anybody ask me anything, man, I'll fucking rap with you.
Okay.
There's a lot of folks that ain't at a point where they asking questions they ain't really ready for.
Yeah.
You know? But,
yeah, of course.
And it's tough because sometimes you'll talk to guys you'll talk to newer comics who I think may honestly think you're coming across as short or rude with them, but there's just certain rudimentary, fuck that word.
Yeah.
Basic shit you got to know before you even get to those questions. You know, I was talking with a cat who, I don't want to say where he's from, but, you know, he's new to the game, and, you know, he'll ask me a couple of advice questions here and there. And I just said, man, you just go do it for 2 years. just go do it for 2 years and then come back and talk to me. And I wasn't saying that in a rude way, but
No, that's probably the best advice that they
literally, when
young.
you're starting, the only way to figure this out is to just do it.
Yeah, so they're that young in the game, yes. You told them you have the best advice you could give them.
Write material, record yourself visually, at minimum audibly, and review. And eliminate any word or any piece of fat in the joke that you don't need that helps you get to the next punchline.
Yeah, that's what you said in your
If you
email
can
to me.
complete that in 2 years, and you do that for 2 years, then you're on to something.
Yep. And he wouldn't even have some of the same questions, Dave, if he came back to you 2 years.
Exactly.
He'd be like, oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I understand.
Because there's a different stuff. There's certain questions that are only answered in the experience of it, and that I can't walk you through. Nobody can walk you through. You just have to fucking do it, man.
Exactly.
And I don't know if those guys think I'm being short with them, but I just feel like 2 years is a long enough time. Tell you why I do that, because I talked to this one motherfucker. Man, I gave this nigga all the game. Call him a year later and see how he doing. He didn't quit comedy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I said, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, too. Because it's going to take out the ones that ain't really worth that 2 year time. That's going to take out the ones that ain't
It
serious.
should be 3 to 5, but I'm being nice by saying 2.
Exactly.
If you ain't been doing comedy 2 years, there's really no advice I can give you. And I say that as nice as I can. But you have to hit that emotional wall. You have to hit that dark place. You need to bomb. You need to suck. You need to sit in your car or sit on the train and reflect in it. And then you need to listen to the fucking audio of you sucking.
Yep. That's the only way you
out
get better.
And fucking just bathe yourself in failure.
Yes.
And if you wake up the next morning and you still want to do this shit again for a living,
there you go. That's the
we can
best.
talk.
That's the best advice you can give them. Yeah.
just fucking
still
go
wanna
fail
do
for
it.
a while and then
Yes,
come back.
indeed.
So now I'm just like, all right, you gotta do this shit 2 years, because I gave somebody way too much good advice. Just taking them out on shows with me to open for me.
Wow.
Fucking quit.
And he
Audacity.
quit? Oh, my goodness. Yes.
And then fucking texted me a couple years later. Yeah, I'm trying
I
to
wanna
get back in this
into it."
thing. Yeah, well, get back in it.
Yeah, I wanna get
Let
back
me know
into
if you got some shows cracking. Nigga ain't shit cracking.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on that. Like, yeah, you broke the first rule. Like, you can't quit, then come back. Nah.
Yeah,
That's not how it
you
works.
can't do that. You can do it less. You can temper it, but if you're not getting on stage at least twice a month, man, and that's generous. That's some Southern ratios. I really feel like once a week.
That's true.
And if you ain't on stage every night, you should be watching it. You should be watching it live. You should be watching it.
Yeah, studying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You can't fuck with no cat who 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Ain't no place for that in any industry.
Very true.
Yep.
Very true. All right, Mr. Roy Wood, man. Thanks for everything. Like I said, man.
I'm sorry I
much
got angry there at
success.
the end.
Oh, no.
Fuck that nigga, man.
Not at all. That's going to make for great podcasts. Great podcast stuff, yo. Well, I appreciate you, man.
Always.
Definitely. Take care.
Thanks so much for checking out the pod. Very special thanks to my guest, the one and only Mr. Roy Wood Jr. Check out his website or his Twitter account for future show information. Check out the next episode of the Comedy Chatter Podcast with another nationally touring comic and, of course, me, Meldon Williams. Make sure y'all listen, subscribe, and support. Y'all be good to yourselves and each other. Take care.